All right, it's day 11 on the Whiskey Tribe sourced Advent Calendar, where you guys put together a list of things for us to try. I ordered them, and then we drink them together. The goal being to drink things we can actually get our hands on, as opposed to some of the Advent calendars that are beautiful, but almost impossible to get. Or even if you can't get the Advent calendar, you may not be able to get the whiskeys that are in the Advent calendar because they're very rare and special edition stuff. Cool thing, but hard to do with a big group of people. And once again, what I love about this is the chance to drink together. I love that. So, today, Maker's Mark, specifically the Cask Strength release. So, let's dig in. Yeah, there's that Maker's. Maker's has always smelled very grain heavy to me. Like, it's always beautiful and it's rich in its depth, but it's a lot of mid-highs, earthy grains mixed with all of the fruit and honey that you typically get in a bourbon. But there's a vegetation and plant, grass, grain to this that strong, especially in the cask strength. Yeah, way less sweet than your typical bourbons and way more of the grain and wood characteristics. The wood char, grain heavy, and there's a thread of sweetness that ties it together. But it's barrel spice, rich grit, mid-herbal grass and grain, and then this thread of melodic beauty, this sweetness that sort of ties all of those things together. And I immediately have one musician pop into my head, and it is one of my favorites, probably has influenced my vocal styling in my music more than any other. And that is Mark Cohn, M-A-R-C-C-O-H-N, Mark Cohn. You would know him if you've never heard Mark Cohn before. You've probably heard Walking in Memphis, which he wrote. And I'll be walking in Memphis, walking with my feet 10 feet off the bill, walking in Memphis. So that's him, right? And so there's this piano mid-range depth with some low, really heavy, big notes. And then his voice is just perfect mid-slight grit, heavy, beautiful melody. This is the first album that has Walking in Memphis. I think it has Silver. Does it have Silver Thunderbird? This is Rest for the Weary Ones. One day, love for the lonely, one day, the walk in the sun. Yeah, it's that, there's depth to it and there's richness. There's enough of the barrel spice grit, but it doesn't achieve the rough, raw, like we said, Tom Waits growl, but there's grit there's a resonant grit to Mark Cohn's vocals. But it's mid-range grit. It's like, you know what it is? It's like the difference between a Taylor and a Martin, where a Taylor is bright and pristine and sparkle and high definition, and the Martin has this really rich depth of mid-range tone. And if it's not played carefully, can sound muddy sometimes. But yeah, damn. And I love Mark Cohn. I grew up listening to Mark Cohn. As you live with it, the sweetness starts to come out more and more. And this is ringing in at 56% alcohol. Yeah, I like it. It's American. It's American whiskey. It's just right in the sweet spot for good classic American influenced thing, which is, I think Mark Cohn really nails that same kind of thing. There's almost blues to them. There's almost folk. There's almost piano rock. There's almost so many things. I could just have easily have argued for Jackson Browne on this one too. Although not with his voice, but just with the music styling. All right, well, cheers. Another one in the books, guys. We'll see where I am in the next batch shoot of locations. Until tomorrow, may your crazy stay this side of legal, and may you return before we have time to miss you. Cheers.